At first start of the series at shortstop after that thumb injury. Arise at second, Bell is at first. Fortes is doing the catching today.
Well, early on, the pitch mix looking good, albeit just 4 pitches into the day, but a strikeout and an 0-1 count to Brenton Doyle, who bounces one wide of third, and it's 0-2 to the Rockies center fielder. Cabrera, couple of starts against Colorado in his career, 1-1, 2.25 ERA, but 15 strikeouts compared to just 5 walks. And as is always the case with Edward, making sure that he's in the zone and controlling the zone and working ahead, which he's done to the first 2 hitters, will put him in a good spot.
The thing is, too, with Cabrera on the mound, especially against this Rocky team who is ultra aggressive when they're hitting, you go ahead and start throwing those strikes early. You are able to expand, and they will swing, and you're going to get a lot of strikeouts and quick outs.
1-2, and a called strike 3 inside corner. Got him with the fastball. Doyle might have thought it was in off the plate, but 2 up, 2 down, 2 Ks.
This is just a nasty pitch after staying away. Just locks him up right on that inside corner. Beautiful pitch by Cabrera.
Definitely close, if not definitely a strike. Either way, 2 down. And the curveball missing low to Ryan McMahon, third baseman for the Rockies. 4 for 7 in the series with 3 doubles. But the exact way you'd like to face him. He's got a little pop in that bat. Nobody on and 2 outs. For a guy who 4 times in his career has reached 20 home runs and twice 30 doubles. We've seen some of that extra base slug here in the first couple of games. Check down at third, went around. So 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, threw him the equalizer. That changeup for Cabrera. Looks like a fastball out of his hands, 92 miles an hour, just power change.
Just missed in off the plate.
Handed hitters into the lefties.
That's a heck of a slider. Wow. Starts outer third and just kept on going.
I mean, and you could see the dot on that baseball. It's tight, and the tighter it is, the more that sucker is going to move from right to left.
Grounded foul outside third, and Cabrera ahead 0-2 on Alaris Montero, who had the big 3-run home run, all 3 of those RBIs in game 1 of this series. But the Marlins have won both of them. A 7-6 win in 10 innings on Tuesday and a 4-1 win last night. So the Marlins' first back-to-back wins all year. That means that the Rockies are the last club without back-to-back wins. Buddy Black on the middle stop of a road trip that's gone through Mexico, Miami, and will end up in Pittsburgh over the weekend. Marlins are off to Oakland, where the weather not nearly as bad as it appears it might be for these Rockies in Pittsburgh. A lot of rain expected. That could affect their plans. Only the 1 meeting in Pittsburgh for those 2 clubs. But Gabby, I mean this in the nicest possible way. Got to file that under not my problem. You know,
Hey, you're going to be
love their broadcast crew over there. I was talking to Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston for a while today. Maybe too long, some would argue, but I wish them luck. They brought their rain gear. They've got the runner caught in between. Arise has it, and now Bell. It's going to look like a phone number when they get that put out. Cortez. Lambert delivers and misses low with the fastball. The Morgan Automotive Group starting pitcher for the Rockies today. So 2nd start of the season, 9th game for him. And that is down the line, fair toward the corner. Good start for Arise and the Marlins. Thinking about 2, and he'll stop right there. A leadoff double.
What a pretty swing here from Arise. Gets the fastball up in the zone. And boy, he just absolutely mashes this baseball. 101.2 miles an hour off the bat to get things started for the Marlins.
You'd love some early runs if possible. We're going paper there.
That was too many. It's
That was
1,
paper.
2, 3, shoot. You went
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a rise. He can do whatever he wants.
It's deceptive that way. Can you balk in rock, paper, scissors? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
apparently.
Well, he's doubled. We know that. Here's Brian De La Cruz, runner in scoring position early on for the Marlins. And that one taken upstairs. His 8th double of the year, making an 11-game on-base streak for Luis. .1-0 to DLC in the dirt, blocked by Stallings. DLC 3 for 8 with a walk and a strikeout against Rockies pitching first couple of games. Marlins trying to break through early against a Rockies team that has set the modern era record, 1900. They have trailed in every game so far this season. And you didn't think that that was going to be the case on Tuesday. Not after a 5 spot in the first inning for Colorado. And nothing but zeros for the first 8 innings for the Marlins. But the Marlins tied it and ultimately walked it off. So at the last possible second, the Rockies trailed. 2-1. Misses outside.
All I can think of is, remember that commercial with the guy with the fishing pole and he had the dollar? Almost got it. That's all that goes into my head when I see that.
Yeah.
You almost got it. Marlins coming back, though. That was really nice to see, and that just gave them momentum into yesterday's game, which hopefully carries them into today's.
That's a walk, so the first 2 are aboard for Jazz here in the first inning.
And we're going to go ahead and look at the scouting report. Now, he's had his starting troubles. In his career, he's 5-14 with a 6.60 ERA. And his only start this year wasn't good either. He went 3 innings, allowing 6 hits. But he's had success here at Lone Depot. His only start at Lone Depot, he went 5 innings, allowing 3 hits. So this is a good start so far. Now, he does have a very good changeup. And that's one of the things that the Marlin hitters need to look for. He's given up a 188 average on that changeup. Marlins worse in the NL versus the changeup with a 203 average. So things to look forward to. Don't worry about the changeup. Hit that fastball, because coming into this ball game, go ahead and just look for one pitch, one spot, and attack. And you know it's going to be in that middle area.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because, listen, they're going to go through their scouting reports anyway. Tendencies change and all that kind of stuff. But Stallings knows these guys pretty well. Roster, generally speaking, the same for the most part since Stallings spent a few years in a Marlins uniform. Ball and a strike to Jazz, who's 0 for 7, a couple of Ks in the series. 2 on and nobody out. Leadoff double for Arise, a walk for De La Cruz. And Lambert deals. Backswing may have clipped Stallings.
And this is kind of where they're playing Jazz right now. There's a very big gap there in left center field. So they're looking for him to either pull the ball in the air or hit it down that left field line. So if Jazz can get something out to that left center field, he's going to have a lot of room to run.
Wow. Ooh. Curveball did not get back into the zone there, according to the crew chief and home plate umpire Andy Fletcher.
Huh. Yeah. Okay.
2-2. Hey, rest of the umpire and crew today: Mike Malinsky over at first base, Jansen Visconti at second, and Edwin Moscoso at third. Two balls and 2 strikes. Jazz out toward left center field. That will get down. Arise coming around third. He'll score. De La Cruz to third. RBI single for Jazz, and the Marlins take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, we talked about that area out there in left center field that they were giving, and Jazz took a lot of advantage of it. You can see he's letting that ball travel, even though that pitch is in. He's staying inside that baseball. Guarantee you that as a hitter, he was looking at that gap. And that ball is up there. It seems like it could be caught, but since they were playing him down that left field line, that ball finds some grass, and Arise comes in to score.
So the Rockies do it again. They have trailed in every game this season, extending that modern era record. Can the Marlins put up a crooked number now? Still nobody out. Runners on the corners for Josh Bell. 3 for 8 in the series. Trying to get the bat going on a much more consistent basis here for Bell. There's that changeup, even the count at a ball and a strike.
And Bell has been swinging the bat a lot better, a lot harder contact coming off of his bat. And Marlins really need him, especially when he's hitting in that 4-hole. Need him to come through with some big hits.
Just a $160 over his last 23 games. Jazz goes, and Jazz going to have to get back. De La Cruz tags at third. Here comes the throw. Beck may have slipped, and it's a whole lot of nothing just to fly out to left field.
Yeah, there wasn't going to be able to try to score on that one, even with the slip. Way too close. Momentum's coming in. As a left fielder, Beck is able to get behind this baseball. So De La Cruz does the right job. Kind of bluff to see if you're able to get the throw, see if that throw gets offline somewhere. But you're not scoring on that one.
So first and third, one out. Marlins can still score on an out here. Jesus Sanchez at the plate. And again, that changeup. See a lot of it today. 1 for 5 in RBI, couple of walks for Jesus, again starting in right field this afternoon. Runner goes, another fly ball. Is this one going to be deep enough? Cave in right makes the catch. Here comes De La Cruz. He'll score. It was a sac fly for Jesus Sanchez, and a 2-0 Marlins lead.
And again, going back to that changeup, and that's kind of been the pitch that we have seen pitchers throwing against the Marlins. And we have the stats. Guess what? All the other team have the stats too. This time, though, Sanchez is able to stay behind it just enough to get the job done and get that ball deep into the outfield to be able to score De La Cruz.
Well, the Marlins cash in the leadoff double and the walk. And here's Tim Anderson. Check on Jazz, who's been off with a couple of pitches already. Situation changes a little bit here, though. 2 outs, nobody in front of him. And good to see Tim Anderson back. He was injured the other night, the thumb. Out of the lineup Tuesday, in the original lineup last night before a precautionary scratch late. But back in there today and sends it to right field. Cave closing in and makes the catch. And that'll do it. Marlins get it. As we head to the top of the second inning, a 2-0 Marlins lead. And that one missing low to Alaris Montero, who was at the plate when Ryan McMahon was picked off, ending the first inning. So kind of sort of turns into a 1-2-3 inning for Edward Cabrera. Did have a couple of strikeouts in that first. Deals the 1-1, and the curveball drops in for a strike.
Well, it's funny to see kind of the transition from that starting pitching role, because it used to be you only wanted to throw maybe 2 pitches that you had in your arsenal throughout to start the game. Second time through the lineup, then that's when you'll start to bring in maybe that curveball or that slider. But pitchers were always told, see how far you can get with just throwing 1 or 2 pitches. Hey, throw the fastball, see if you can get outs. Now it just seems like just throw everything from the very beginning, because pitchers really aren't trying to go 7-8 innings anymore. You're kind of going that 5 and then let the bullpen take over.
Yeah, it's an industry-wide thing, really. 3-2 is lined into the netting foul. Just see how many swings and misses you can get.
Yeah.
And how long can you throw as hard as you can. And we've seen Cabrera at times. We've seen Trevor Rogers at times kind of go back to that more old school pitching, not always chasing the velocity. With Cabrera, the velo is much more natural. Like even his changeup we see at 94 miles an hour.
It's smoother too. It doesn't even seem like he's throwing that hard when he is throwing. And all of a sudden it's coming out of his hands at 98 miles an hour.
Montero takes his timeout before another 3-2 pitch. And here it comes. Missed down with the fastball. So that's the second walk. Talked a little bit about that changeup for Cabrera. How does it stack up to the rest of the league? It's a pretty good look right there. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. There's the separation there. That's his changeup against everybody else's. 4 feet of difference.
And a lot more with the speed. That's why it's called a power changeup. We'll see that changeup being thrown at 95 miles an hour.
Brendan Rodgers, second baseman for Colorado. Takes one in off the plate. Well, we've seen the zone a little tight. And Andy Fletcher showing where that missed right at the end of that, saying it was a little bit in off the plate. That one had the zone. 2-1.
And the big thing for Cabrera, and it's been his whole entire, career, it's when he gets hurt is when he's walking guys and he's not being consistently in the zone. He already has 2 walks today.
It's always been the thing. You got to limit the walks. Keep guys off base. I mean, again, this is a Rockies team that's going to chase. They're going to swing and miss. That's not to say you throw to the backstop and throw the rosin bag up there and hope you go 7 scoreless, but you can still be around the edges of the zone. But sometimes it's the nibbling that gets him into trouble. That one poked into right field. A walk and a single, and the Rockies have the first 2 on in the second.
And that breaks Rogers' streak of 0 for 7 getting the hit, and it's a slider right on the outside corner. Rogers does a good job of just trying to poke it. Pokes it right there in the 4-hole. All of a sudden the Rockies have first and second for Cabrera. Now Cabrera does have the stuff to be able to get out of this with no problem. We've seen it before where he'll get bases loaded and then just strike out the side.
Yeah, the zone's a little interesting today, I'd say. Fletcher chatting with the Rockies dugout now. That one looked like it was a little low, but Black perhaps offering some words of encouragement for the home plate umpire today. Or who knows, maybe it was a fan in the 5th row. We've seen that too.
We've seen that one. Seen the manager get tossed because a fan was John with the umpire.
A little too boisterous one day. Nothing in 2 on Jordan Beck. We saw Beck make his major league debut on Tuesday. He was called up with Nolan Jones placed on the IL. Well, back issue for Jones. So Beck 2 for 7 in the series. He had a base hit in his first at bat, a couple of hits in his first game. A top 100 prospect across Major League Baseball. Takes that one just outside, 2-2. And these are the situations where you don't like Cabrera getting himself into. 32 pitches and nobody out in the second inning. And another full count. No, sir. He went around. So the youngster couldn't hold up, and it's a strikeout. That's the first out of the inning.
And just a power changeup again, and for Beck, he definitely went there. He hasn't seen a power changeup like Cabrera's. Nobody really has, and that's where he gets those swings and misses.
Toyota trend, you got to limit the free passes. And he's done that this year, certainly trending in the right direction. His first couple of starts, 3 starts that is. And he was chasing it last year. He was trying to clean it up. His first 2 starts, if you recall, against the Mets, 13 walks in the first 2 starts. So he had boosted that rate early. Even Cave right there questioning the zone.
Well, here's the thing. If you have an umpire behind home plate who is not calling the up part of the zone and is going to call that low part of the zone, you got to continue to attack it. You got to exploit that. He wants to call that pitch down. Keep going with it. Throw that 4-seam fastball down low again. Let him keep calling that pitch.
And maybe just the sights are shifted a little down compared to the strike zone we see on the screen. We saw Jazz, looked like one of the offerings to Jazz was at the top of the zone. He didn't call that. So.
But there's umpires that, hey, I don't call, the top part of the zone. I will give more in the bottom part of the zone. So in doing so, as a pitcher, as a catcher, you see it. Okay, fine. We're going to just keep going down there. Good luck here. Try to hit this pitch. Fastball's at 97 miles an hour on the low part of the zone. Good luck. Have fun with that one.
Got him to chase that changeup again. 94 down and away. So after the walk and the base hit, back-to-back strikeouts.
I mean, that's the impressive part of where he grips that baseball. There's so much space, which is why he gets so much action to it, and he's still able to keep those fingers on, and that's where he's getting the speed from.
It's not even close.
It's
AT&T fiber fast pitch, not even close.
I mean, look who's the second guy on that list. Sandy.
I mean,
and it's nowhere near him.
I don't work in the graphics department for a good reason, but it would be like Cabrera and then the field. I'd save myself some typing, like everybody else. Cabrera and the rest.
Add everybody up, and you still not even close.
There's Sandy, a guy who at times we've compared Edward to, because we talked about the early days of Sandy and the early days of the man next to him, Yuri Perez. These guys can get outs in the strike zone, so fill up the zone and try to keep the pitch count down. Ball and a strike to Jacob Stallings, who knows Cabrera pretty well. How well? Very well. Too well. 3-run home run, Jacob Stallings, and the Rockies have taken the lead.
Well, Stallings knows he likes to throw the changeup a whole bunch, and well, he got the changeup, and it was in the middle part of the zone, and there's nothing but smiles coming out of Stallings. And if anybody's seen this pitch a whole bunch, it's definitely Stallings. And boy, he did not miss this one. 107 miles an hour off the bat. That's a no-doubter.
What was our number? 178 on the changeups? He literally may have caught 150.
150 of them. He knows exactly the movement. He knows what it's supposed to do. And I think he was looking for it, and he got it. And Cabrera, he's confused of what just happened right now. Stallings just took me deep.
Well, Stallings not known for his power, but just the second home run in this building. That was after suiting up in the home whites for a couple years. But a big one that takes a 2-0 Marlins lead. And
he said he just broke his bat. He said the bat's broken.
Broke the bat and hit it 407?
Yeah.
Huh.
And 107 miles an hour off of that bat, I believe, too. He said the bat's broken. Well, supply the power.
And now Hunter Goodman with a high fly out toward left. Hey, look, it's Dane Myers. Hey, we're going to break down his swing. Huh? Slow the game down. He leads it off. 94 up top. That makes sense, right, Gabby?
No,
and Kelly's
absolutely
listening, so you could chat with her if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, here, the biggest thing for a hitter is to have less movement. You want to be able to see that baseball and see it, coming in. For me, Myers does a good job of letting that ball travel and hitting the ball opposite way.
Yeah, that's right, Gabby. And it was about the head too, was moving a ton with the movement of his body, having that open stance as well. He said he just wasn't seeing that baseball really well. And what he told me too, and even though he had that really hot spring, got off to a really tough start in the minors. And he said for that, it really wasn't about mechanics for him. It was pushing, right? He had this great spring, thought he was going to make the team. He didn't. He thought he still had something to prove. So he even told me that the flat foot was something he noticed when he was looking back at some film from just the first at bat here with the Marlins. And he said immediately brings it right back up. He feels more comfortable. He's able to simplify things and just see the baseball so much better.
I've heard hitters talk about that too. Sometimes if they're in a comfortable setting and things are going right, and then they go on the road, they get sent down, they do whatever, they get traded, whatever the case might be, and they get back to that comfortable spot, batter's box, batter's eye, whatever it is, it's like, oh, you know what, that looks different. Maybe I'm open, maybe I'm closed, maybe I'm doing something. I don't know.
And you see that a lot, Paul. You're absolutely correct. When things started going wrong in the minor leagues when he first started off this season, all of a sudden you go back to those mechanics, the poor mechanics that you had. So
swing adjustments did you make when you were at Syracuse? Right? You're always constantly adjusting, right?
Always adjusting.
Once a week?
But for me, I was always I had a very, very tall swing. I like to stand nice and tall because for softball, that's different with baseball. We have a rise ball. So I know you see it with some pitchers. We talked about Adam Simber with that low release point, and sometimes that four-seam fastball has that natural rise. But softball, let me tell you, that ball, it starts here, it ends here. So for me, I always stay nice and tall and kept my hands up here so I could stay on top of that softball.
There you go. So you got to have a game plan. One of these days I'm going to get a game plan, Kelly. I swear. I'm working on it. I don't know. I'm not going to push it, though, because I might tinker a little bit too much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. That was good.
Can't wait. See you guys later.
Outside to Emmanuel Rivera. Myers, by the way, struck out. So first strikeout for Peter Lambert this afternoon. Rivera over at third again today. A half swing there on a 1-2 now. Were you a guy that tinkered a lot, or you tried to stay pretty?
No, I mean, I always kind of tinkered. Like early on, I was not as wide as I did get, later. I kind of got almost into like a two-strike mode because I realized I still have power from that two-strike mode, but I'm able to make better contact with the baseball. And I think that definitely helped me out because just like we were talking about Dane Myers, it took away movement. I didn't have to worry about it, and I can just set up, be ready, here's the pitch, and I'm swinging. So I got to see the ball a lot deeper than when I have a lot more movement in my hands and body.
One of the great, I don't even know if it was necessarily a toe tap as much as maybe a heel raise, but the bottom line was it was not a big leg kick. And he was a pretty decent hitter. I may get some pushback on this. Albert Pujols.
Right. I mean, same kind of concept. I mean, I would spread out just like him. I know our producer, Soltz, he had something when I was playing where they put me and Pujols next to each other, and it was very similar to where we held. And listen, Pujols was a guy that I would look up to. He was a guy that, you looked at as a first baseman. I was like, okay, that's who you want to kind of be. And it just helped me drive that baseball, and it was just the same exact thing. It was just kind of spread out and get those hands going.
Yeah, John Sulser, one of the great creative minds in the world of producing. Nick Fortes, 1 on, 1 out. 0 for 2 with a strikeout lifetime against Lambert. The Marlins find themselves down a run here. A friendly reminder to stream Marlins baseball live on the Bally Sports app, presented by T-Mobile. Tell your friends. 0-2 to Fortes. Rivera leading away from first base after the walk. Popped near home plate, and Stallings puts it away. Back Back to the top of the order here for Luis Arraez. A double and a run scored in that first inning. So getting that batting average back up over 300. And takes one outside. So including that at bat, we'll call it now 29 games. Batting average for Arraez is at 330, getting on base at a 374 clip. Taken all the way, 1-1. He's got his eyes on the left side right there. Tovar playing up the middle. McMahon maybe a third of the way off the line. Slider down and in, a ball and 2 strikes.
And this is when it really gets fun with Arraez, especially after he swings at a pitch like this that's down in the zone, slider coming in on him. You can see the little smirk coming off of his face, and he's like, okay, now he's going to let that ball travel a little bit more. You have third base wide open. They're playing more of a shift, and all he's going to try to do is just shoot the ball that way.
Pulls it foul.
Got the changeup again. Lambert's going to use that changeup a whole bunch. We've already seen it today. It's the most used pitch that he has thrown. And again, we talk about the Marlins, how they do against the changeups. Teams already know it. He's thrown that changeup 15 times already today. 14 times.
1-2 into center. Get down. It does, right in front of Doyle. Marlins have a couple on with 2 outs. Another multi-hit effort for Luis Arraez.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that he swings the baseball bat, he understands the zone, understands what they're trying to do. Remember, he swung at that slider down and in and missed it. Gets the slider a little bit up more, doesn't try to do too much, stays inside of it, drives it right back up the middle.
Keeps the line moving for Brian De La Cruz, who walked and scored in the first inning. For Arraez's 12th multi-hit game. Bobby Witt, Trey Turner, Kyle Tucker, Adley Rutschman. Longer list than I thought. That's why I keep listing these guys off. So a number of guys. There are 7 guys. I won't go all the way down the list, but 7 have 13, so he's not far off the pace there. Thought it was like 2 guys. The next thing I know, I'm listing off an all-star team here.
That was an all-star team of guys that you just listed off, though.
It's like an opening day roll call here. And the trainer for the Colorado Rockies. 0-2 here on DLC. And chase that changeup, lethal for Lambert. Marlins leave a couple.
And there it was. Pretty similar.
Now, okay, so you're in the big leagues with Albert right around the same time. Contemporaries, obviously, but growing up, was there someone you tried to emulate? I mean, once you're in the show and Pujols is doing what he's doing, a great guy to choose from, but growing up, was there someone?
You know, my favorite player was Cal Ripken growing up, but he had like 19 or 20 different stance.
He had every swing imaginable, yeah.
So I couldn't really try to emulate his swing.
But yeah, if you're playing MLB The Show, you try to create a player and you have to pick the stance. There's 86 different Cal Ripken Juniors to choose from.
He had no chance. Yeah. He had the violin going. He had the hands up. You know, a guy that I kind of looked at when I was kind of growing up was like an Alex Rodriguez, where, you know, it was that typical, you know, stand tall kind of swing in the zone, stay through it. But you kind of just take everything and you look at the best of everybody's, and then you try to kind of put it into what works best for you. And for me, once I saw like the Pujols, I was already kind of doing that. I just had to just spread out a little bit more, and that's kind of where I got comfortable, and I stayed right there.
And some guys will have huge overhauls over the course of time. Others will move the hands up or down or open the stance, close the stance, minor things along the way. And when they're, look out, almost got somebody down there. Look out. Who was it? Roderick Munoz and Avi Garcia.
I think it got Garcia. But when you talk about even swings, like Brenton Doyle right now, who's hitting, last year he hit 203, had 10 home runs. And what he did was he realized he's better in his two-strike approach, so he spread out as well. And it's been more successful for him so far this season, even though he just struck out right
Well-timed analysis there on the strikeout. That was good. Hey, stay updated on upcoming
point or another. They're always tinkering with their swing. It's never a finished product because you're never going to be 100%. There's always going to be something to where, you know what, my hands need to be a little bit lower maybe. I need to spread out, or I need to, not spread out as much. There's always work to be done. So you're going to always have hitting coaches that are going to come up and say, hey, let's work on this today because we see that you might be turning that front hip a little bit too much. We got to get that back. So there's always a lot of work to be done in the cage, on the field, to just keep yourself in the big leagues.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what John Jay and Nick Gordon are talking about right now. Something about the hip, maybe.
You're always talking. You're always working. You're always trying to figure out, hey, I'm not feeling good right now. What is it? Then you go to a guy like John Jay, who's been a lot of time in the big leagues, a lot of success. Hey, what do you see? Where can we go from here? Lefty, lefty, tell me, what are you seeing? Let me look at your video. Hey, look at this part. Look at your front hip. It's opening up. You got to close that.
Yeah, I mean, we showed Albert Pujols, first ballot Hall of Famer. It's just how close to 100% will he get? Even he went through slumps.
Yeah.
But the key was always, as we say all the time, how short can you keep them? Some guys slump for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they got to go to the minor leagues. A guy like Pujols, maybe it's 4 or 5 days before you figure it out. But everybody goes through it. How about another strikeout? Make it 6 through 3 innings for Cabrera. Park, it's a short homestand on the way back. Marlins will be living out of a suitcase for a little while. Phillies in town for just 3 on the backside of the road trip, but Hyundai presents the Marlins Live pregame show. Kelly and Nelly, that's right, from the road in Oakland tomorrow. So we'll be on site with our Marlins Live pregame show starting at 9 o'clock and 9:40 first pitch. So you got to find somebody to host a show with you that your name rhymes with their name, and then you can brand it, Gabby.
It's very true.
See?
Gabby and Craig. Doesn't ring.
It's not good.
Yeah, that's not. We'll be the Saturday and Sunday.
I'll
be driving up an hour north while you're having a nice flight.
I figured it out.
Let me hear it.
You know, I drink the coffee before the game.
Yeah.
If I don't get one, Gabby and Krabby.
There we go.
You see that?
I like it.
We can do it.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Put on a billboard. Go big or go home. Ball and 2 strikes here to Jazz, leading things off. Bell and Sanchez to follow. Couple of hops to the shortstop, Tovar. And now a word from Bad Boy Mowers.
The fields, front lawns, and backyards of America. Bad Boy.
There's Josh Bell. Fly out to left his first time up. And this one hit well out toward right field, and that's going to tie the ball game. Josh Bell's solo home run.
Boy, that's got to feel good for Josh Bell. Talked about it. The ball is starting to come off that bat a little bit better. You're starting to see a little bit more production, and boy, he hammered that pitch. Hasn't hit that home run for quite a while now. Last home run he hit was April 20th. So it's good to see Bell wearing that hat again.
And it ties things up. 3-3 in the third. Sanchez the opposite field and out of play. Back to that home run swing.
Gets the curveball. You can see the spin on him. Boy, he stays all on it. Back hip driving through that zone. 101 miles an hour off the bat, 369 feet.
So now 3 for 4 with that home run lifetime against Lambert. Way upstairs with the fastball. They were talking about swing adjustments and tweaking things and all kinds of stuff. Now multiply it by 2 for a switch hitter like Josh Bell. Fly ball right field, caught by Cave for the second out. So that's the other element of it. He's trying to stay fresh on both sides of the plate and just stay in a good spot, number one. But then also you're going through it on one side or the other. Now it almost feels like you're going through it twice. You're in 2 slumps.
You're 2 slumps, and that's the hard part when you are a switch hitter, because you could be feeling really good on the right side and terrible on the left side, but then that left side is going to affect your right side too. I actually asked him the other day, I'm like, so when you're hitting BP, are you hitting lefty if you know that there's going to be a righty, or are you trying to use both? Because you got to use both. You got to hit lefty, you got to hit righty. So sometimes maybe you go into the cage, you hit just lefty in the cage, then you come out for BP, you just hit righty. But, I mean, that's double the work constantly. That's double the thought process.
When you're going through it, double the stress.
And double the stress.
So good to see a smile on his face after the equalizer here in the third. And the Marlins hope to get that 2023 deadline duo back. Bell and Berger. Berger out on a rehab assignment. Should be back hopefully at some point. Lowry's Montero grounds it foul. Montero walked and scored back in the second inning. He'll be followed by Rogers and Beck. So 62 pitches at this point here for Cabrera. A lot of that, about half of it, exactly half, was in the second inning alone. So got to get back to that more efficient first and third innings. Get back in the strike zone. Get the Marlins back to the bat rack here, because you're not really sure how much longer Lambert's got. He's at 56 pitches right now. You figure he's in that 70 range. And the Rockies bullpen has been known to cough up some runs. That one out of play, foul. Bit of a headache there for Buddy Black. Since the 25th of April, the bullpen is at a 10.5 ERA. So that's what the Marlins are trying to get to. And the earlier you get to it, the less high leverage guys come in. Good start to this frame for Cabrera. Need Friday plans? Kick off the night at our new Fiesta Friday after the West Coast trip.
And Paulie, you talk about the bullpen for the Rockies. Well, guess what? Peter Lambert was one of their big parts in that bullpen, who was throwing the ball extremely well, and now they're having to move him into that starting rotation role. So you basically just lost a key piece from your reliever role into that starting. And as a reliever, Lambert was 2-0 with a 1.88 ERA, only giving up a 2.29 batting average.
There's a strike there to Brendan Rodgers, 2-1. Yeah, they're always trying to figure out pitching with the Rockies and how to pitch at altitude and how to keep guys healthy and not in a, injuries done for the season kind of way, but just pitching there and recovery and all that kind of stuff. It's been very difficult for them for the most part. They've had their successful seasons, but last year was their first 100-loss season in 3-game series. If you're seeing them, you might be shaking in your boots a little bit. So those are problems there for Bud Black. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cabrera and a couple quick outs here in the fourth.
And again, Cabrera, which pitch is he going to go to get his strikeout? That changeup, and it's a good one. It's almost a sinker, not really a changeup. The way that it moves, the way that the action of it is, 94 miles an hour on that changeup. You talk about a changeup at 94, 95 miles an hour. That's better than a lot of guys' fastballs.
Leading the way with it 40% of the time today. He's got that in the back pocket too.
And I feel like he needs to throw that fastball more. He needs to utilize that fastball more, and then he'll get even more swings and miss off of that changeup. You're just freezing guys up because now guys are just waiting for that one pitch. I'm going to look for the changeup, and now it's 95, 96, up to 98 miles an hour with that four-seam fastball. I'd like to see him elevate that four-seam fastball too.
Ball and 2 strikes here on Jordan Beck. And he got him to chase. Fortes steps out in front of home plate, completes the strikeout, and he strikes out the side, making 5 Ks in a row for Cabrera. Longest in franchise history since '08. Twins playing some good baseball right now. Cubs are in action in New York, taking on the Mets this afternoon. There's a light schedule across Major League Baseball today. Just one night game tonight. It's the Guardians and the Astros. Everything else is 2:35 Eastern Time or earlier. And even at that, there's only a handful or so of games. Dane Myers, Emmanuel Rivera, and Nick Fortes here in the 4th inning against Lambert. Just missed low. I know what I saw, Gabby. Go ahead. You let it out. It's fine.
It's great. Here's the thing, though, too. Andy Fletcher behind the plate.
I thought he was going to bring him up on that one.
I mean, he's looking for that low pitch. He's calling it.
Can't call that a strike. It had grass stains on it. I'm sorry.
That first pitch to Myers kind of shook his head, but here's the thing. He's calling that pitch that's down in the zone. And as a pitcher, you need to be able to exploit it.
I like when the catcher catches it, tries to frame it. I've seen Travis d'Arnaud do that a handful of times.
Did you see him do the one that hit off the back wall?
Yes.
And then came back?
Yes, that was good. That was good. A walk there for Myers and a good start here for the Marlins, a leadoff base runner. It's the 3rd walk issued by Lambert this afternoon. We'll see if the bottom 3rd of this Marlins order can get them back in front here in the 4th inning. Emmanuel Rivera, a walk his first time up. Runner goes, swing and miss, throw from Stallings. Not in time.
Now that's a hit and run. And Rivera gets a pitch that's off the plate away. But boy, Myers had this base stolen easily.
Rogers was quick with the tag, but a lot of times you tell the youngsters keep the tag on. You never know when you're flying into second base with that kind of speed.
And late slide too, head first.
Well, in scoring position now for Rivera, and that one kicks away from Stallings. Couldn't find it. He'll get it before it gets to that top step.
Just a change up down. Stallings tries to get his body in front of it, but that's going to be a tough one for a catcher. That ball is off the plate. It's a changeup. You're not expecting it to be that far in front of home plate. Just couldn't get his body around it. Be a wild pitch.
Cut on and missed on the slider. Well, a lot of times you say the offense trying to manufacture a run. The Rockies trying to manufacture a run here for the Marlins. The walk, the stolen base, and then the wild pitch gets the runner at 3rd base here.
Now they're playing infield in too, so they're not. They want to get this out at home, and with no outs, I don't see him running.
High down the right field line and out of play, foul.
So this is where Rivera needs to come up here and just try to elevate this pitch. You know that you're going to get a changeup at some point. You want to try to elevate it and then stay behind it. To be able to equalize the changeup when you know a guy's going to throw it, you really got to think opposite field to be able to just stay on that pitch.
There is action in the Rockies bullpen. Ty Block loosening up. Figured Lambert would be around 70 pitches today. High fly ball, right center field. Doyle coming in. Remember, he's got a cannon. And a smart move by Myers to stay put.
Very smart. And you can see, too, that Doyle calls off Cave and says, no, let me get this one, because everybody knows that the best arm in that outfield right now is Doyle. We talked about it yesterday. He had one throw last year where he threw it 105.7 miles an hour to home. So you know that he has that in the back pocket. The coaching staff knows, the players know, so you don't want to just take that extra out. Now, with one out, any ball that gets hit here on the ground, you're going.
Infield in again. Nick Fortes at the plate, goes right up the middle for a base hit. Marlins take a 4-3 lead. Infield in, back, didn't matter. It was right back through the box.
What a nice swing here by Fortes. It's a slider and it's elevated up in the zone and just hits it right back up the box. He hits this one good, 207 miles an hour off the bat. Fortes just bat head staying through that zone right back up the box.
And out at a higher rate now. Granted, it was what, 15, 20 at bats when there were a lot of strikeouts, but he's back into great numbers. Less than 8% strikeouts right now for Luis Arraez. Today, another multi-hit game, a double and a single. And he's got Fortes on at first. And this one slash foul left side, out of play.
Talk about Ty Block. How about this? Comes in April 22nd against San Diego, throws 1 inning. 2 days later, spot start. Goes 5 against the same San Diego Padres team. This is his 3rd outing. Has a nice little sinker that he's going to throw.
That might have been it right there. And it starts the double play. But the Marlins do get 1 on. And 7 of those put away pitches are nowhere near the zone. and that's like, this is a team that will chase Colorado, obviously. Yep. But that's what's great about Cabrera, is that he can, you know, maybe tunnel pretty well. We talk about tunneling a lot. How long can you keep multiple pitch types looking like the same pitch before they just dart all over the place? But he's got them an aggressive bunch already, swinging like crazy.
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, is that Andy Fletcher is calling the pitch that's down in the zone a strike. So as a hitter, you know that, hey, I might need to expand low. Well, when you have to try to expand low against Cabrera, it's not making your job easier.
So 9 strikeouts, the 4th most that he's ever had in a game in his career. He's topped out at 12. That was last year against Chicago. Saw a 10 strikeout game against the Giants in his season debut this year. But misses outside. That puts an end to the run of 5 consecutive strikeouts for Cabrera. Leadoff man and tying run is aboard for Jacob Stallings, who we didn't see a lot of this. We know he had it in him, but he hit that one 400+ feet with perhaps a broken bat.
With a broken bat. Did he take the bat back up there? That's what I want to know.
His former battery mate was in disbelief. Fortes throws to first, and Cave gets back in time. Apparently he likes taking battery mates deep in this ballpark. He's at 2 home runs in this yard. One today is Cabrera, and the other one, current Rocky Dakota Hudson last year. But in all seriousness, 346 average for Jacob. He almost had another home run. That was his first home run of the year. He almost had another home run. There was a questionable home run and went to review in Colorado a couple weeks ago, and they took it off the board for fan interference.
And I'm going to disagree with that one, because I didn't think that was fan interference at all. It was a good 1.5 feet away from the glove. That was a rough one for Stallings.
Hey guys, I actually talked to him about that, and he said, guys, I wasn't even angry. I was sad. I was just sad.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's wearing nothing but gray today, apparently. We always get on Jacob for his color schemes. He's got gray top to bottom. When he was Pittsburgh, it was black top to bottom. He said he's not worried about the different colors. Love that guy, great family, and wish him nothing but the best. Except today. I mean, we don't like the 3-run home run.
I mean, we'll be happy with the 6-4-3 double play.
Right.
That's what
we'll
take right now.
Sure.
You hit the 3-run homer. Now hitting to the double play.
You had your fun. Ball and 2 strikes. Runner goes. And a foul tip. Now word from FPL.
I'm Sergio. I work for FPL. We've transitioned from foreign oil to natural gas, and we're moving responsibly towards solar, battery, and green hydrogen, and this will all ultimately bring savings to the customer.
Ball and 2 strikes. Runner not going this time. Fastball up and in. So Cabrera at 85 pitches right now. Doesn't look like any action in the Marlins bullpen at the moment. Runner goes, and another foul ball.
Gabe is like, okay, enough is enough here.
Getting his calisthenics in.
Got 2 good jumps, and here's the thing though, Cabrera, he's very slow to the plate right now, especially on those 2 that Cave stole on. About 1-5 to home, so he has to clean that up, get a little bit quicker.
2-2, not going, and Stallings a base hit up the middle. Haunting his former club in his lone start of the series, a 3-run homer and a base hit today.
That just gets a curveball, and this time it stays up enough, and Stallings just drives it right back up the middle. Now you're in a situation for Cabrera, who's just trying to get through this 5th inning.
I'll bring out Mel Stottlemyre Jr. It looks like Calvin Fauché has started to loosen in the Marlins bullpen. So watch Cabrera on the last offering. He turns, and a little bit of a grimace there. Reaching for the hip area, that left hip area.
A little IT band.
Could be something to monitor. He also goes to the rosin bag a lot, so maybe he was just I don't know, drying off his wrist or something. Who knows? We'll obviously keep an eye on it as best we can. He's getting late in the pitch count anyway, so any change could have more to do with that than whatever he may or may not be dealing with. In the dirt to Hunter Goodman.
We talk about the 9 strikeouts. Very good. The only problem with striking out 9 is that pitch count is shooting up. And for Cabrera right here, just trying to just get the ground ball. That's all you're looking for. First and second, get yourself a ground ball, double play. You'll have a man on third with 2 outs. Utilize that changeup.
Missed with the fastball. 3-0. And the top of the order, Tovar waiting on deck. inside, and they're loaded now for Tovar. So walk, single walk here in the 5th inning.
And I don't know how far you can go if you're skipping up. Looks like he's coming out.
And a 1-run lead. Calvin Fauché on to pitch, facing Ezequiel Tovar. And a short hop there for a rise. They get one. They're going to get Stallings caught in between second and third. The tying run is scored, applying the tag to get the second out. Or check that, the first out, because that was a short hop, so only the one out. Well, they stepped on the bag.
Stepped on the base.
Okay, there's a lot. Again, another one of those 15 throw rundowns there. They got the out at second, and then they got Stallings. So it is, in fact, a double play.
I mean, great play there by Arise. For a second, I thought he was going to get that ball and come home, because I felt like they had the play out at home if they wanted to, but instead go to second, get the flip, and then you have Stallings basically in no man's land. There's nothing he could do on that because he had to stay back because that ball looked like it was going to be caught on a line.
So it is the double play, but it is also a tying play. It's not an RBI for Tovar, who's on at first base now. That one tap foul. Brings up Brenton Doyle, who struck out twice. So that run, of course, charged to Cabrera. Fauché in his 8th game. He's been very effective out of the Marlins bullpen. 94 up and in on Doyle, and it's 1-2. Runner goes. Fortes had to turn to his right to corral it, so didn't get a whole lot on the throw, and with the speed of Tovar, he gets into second base relatively easy.
Now, those are the ones that you kind of tell Fortes, just put it in the back pocket. You know, once you make that grab, you're not going to have a chance at second. The last thing you want to do is make an errant throw and get that guy over to third.
So that the 11th stolen base for the Rockies, fewest in baseball. And to put it into some perspective, we've been telling you that the Reds have the most stolen bases. Elly De La Cruz has 18, so he's out stolen based 5 or so clubs.
Kid's a star player. Speed, power. Throws 100-something miles an hour from shortstop to first.
Yeah, not bad. Tapper back to the mound. Fauché with the flip. And we are halfway tomorrow night. The Marlins play in Oakland at 9:40. So thanks for sticking with us. That's a base hit up the middle for DLC. On for the second time today. And a good start here in the 5th inning.
You look at the arm angle, and it's going to be what? Oh, yep, the changeup. Of course it is. But this time, DLC stays back on it and just drives it right back up the box. And that's the thing that I want to see a little bit more from these Marlin hitters. When you know as a team collectively, everybody is struggling with that changeup, that tells me everybody's trying to catch that ball out too far in front. So you got to be able to turn that field around.
Jazz lifts one left side and out of play. RBI single in the first for Jazz and grounded out to short, so a 1-for-2 day. Jazz, of course, flashing the power. He had home runs in back-to-back games earlier on this homestand, but generally speaking, trying to find some more consistency. His last 9, just hitting 172. Two balls and a strike. Block delivers.
That's the pitch that's been hurting Jazz. Those cutter sliders away. Just not being able to stay on that pitch and drive it the opposite way.
Punches that one toward shortstop. Tovar caught that one in the air, so it'll go down as a line out.
Tovar was thinking on that one about trying to play it on that short hop, and instead of doing it, he just caught it in the air. But there was that thought process of, do I let that ball drop? You can see he was looking at Jazz to see if Jazz was running. If Jazz wasn't running to first, he would have let that ball drop and try to turn the double play.
Yeah, from up here at first glance, I thought he did. And I'm looking around, and there wasn't really much of a rush to get the out at second and first, so that's how you knew. But yeah, it's one of those little baseball IQ plays there.
Look first, see if the guy's running. He's running, okay, catch it. I would rather not have him at first.
Bell fouls that one back. He's hitting from the right side now, but earlier from the left side, tied the game at 3.
Well, let's see if he can do it again. I know he did it last year where he hit one from the left side and one from the right side. It was the first time that he did it in his career. Talked to him about it. He was like, yeah, I've been trying to chase it, trying to get it, and I finally was able to do it.
He homered in the third, so he's going to give himself a few at bats here. We'll see if there's any other lefties that'll keep him in the right-handed hitter's batter's box.
I'll take it right now. A little 2-run shot.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way. Then you could say I tried to do it 3 times.
I could look this up. I'm doing okay. I have the internet over here. Multi-home run games you have?
I have a couple.
Couple?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Were you, after the first home run, were you thinking of the second one?
I never thought about home runs, ever. If I went up there and thought about home runs, I knew that I wasn't going to hit it. So early on in my career, I was like, nope.
Those are your slumps right there.
Yep.
Bell swings through that sinker, and he's down on strikes. Second out here in the 5th.
Yeah, I was trying to go gap to gap. And this last pitch here, this one just eats Bell up. It's a good pitch to hit, 90-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle, and he was just late to it. He was probably thinking something off speed, gets the fastball, just can't catch up.
I'm told you had 3 multi-home run games.
There you go. Never try to do it.
Ground ball to short. Tovar scoops it up. And we will head to the 6th inning, tied at 4. Signed by Florida as a non-drafted free agent in '92. Made his major league debut in '98. I mean, that's pretty good to be non-drafted free agent and play that long in the big leagues and be around the big leagues for so long.
And here's the thing, at that point in time, there was endless rounds.
Right.
So you have to think about, 55, 60. They would just stop and say, okay, we're done drafting. We don't need any more guys.
What was Piazza, the 64th round?
64th, something like that.
Piazza was 1988 in the 62nd round.
62nd round.
So, yeah.
Now it's 20. And
That's
we're
it.
good. See you later. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are in the big leagues who probably wouldn't have been in the big leagues now because of the draft not going as deep.
And McMahon went around. Good sweeper there from Fauché. And that is the first out.
Tell you what, I like Fauché a whole bunch. I feel like his stuff just plays extremely well. Has good fastball. You can see there the sweeper, real big.
Montero lifts one right field. And Sanchez puts it away. So a couple of outs here in the 6th inning. Tune in all month long for the latest episode of Marlins All Access featuring the hometown kid Jesus Luzardo. It's your last chance here. You're out of the booth. You got to plug the show. You're not going on the road trip. You got to plug the All Access show one more time. Come on, different audience today.
It's a different audience. You're right.
Exactly.
What was it? 20 minutes or something?
15 minutes.
Every 15 minutes.
Except my fans, they stick all day long.
All through long.
Yours come and go, but yeah.
It's a great episode. I actually watched it, and it was fantastic. We have a nice little session where we have a film session. The film's going on. He's explaining his pitches. He's explaining, what he's trying to do on the mound. It's the insight that you normally don't get. Got to watch it.
Look at that, perfectly.
See?
It tied a nice little bow. Andrew Nardi starting to warm up in the Marlins bullpen. Couple of innings for Boucher. Did allow a run to score, but it was on the backside of a wild double play. But an inherited run nonetheless that tied things at 4. More work for Block as that one fouled straight back.
And the thing with Block is that he is a guy that can throw multiple innings. He can stay in there for a while. We talked about he's had 2 starts. This is 2 outings. This is his 3rd. One of those he went 5 innings. So they can look to see they can use 2 pitchers to get throughout the whole entire ball game.
Lambert went 3 1/3. Ended up with 5 hits and 4 earned runs. One, 2 here to Anderson. Great to see Anderson back, and again, was in the original lineup yesterday, but precautionary reasons pulled from it. But anytime you see, especially a guy who relies on his hands, relies on those wrists, and dealing with that thumb on cue, base hit left field, good to see that he wasn't out for very long. So nice for TA, who's aboard to start the 6th inning.
And you can see with TA too, early on, those balls are just getting in on him enough. And here he was finally able to get that bad head out and hit that ball in the 6th hole. And that's just all timing. You go 3 games without really seeing an AB. It takes a little bit of time, not too long, but it does take maybe an AB or 2 to get back into the rhythm.
Now Dane Myers, 1 on and nobody out. Change up for a strike. Dane walked, stole a base, and scored a run back in the 4th inning. Of course, had his first career walk-off hit on Tuesday night. Before the strikeout in the 2nd inning today was 3 of his last 3 with 5 RBIs. A big hit late in the game last night. Got him the start today. Anderson creeping off of first, and Block steps off.
Paulie, for Myers, it's basically like bullying your way into the starting lineup. And that's it. Every single time you get the opportunity, I'm getting my hits. I'm getting big hits. At some point, they're like, you got to get in there.
Well, he does it again. Down the line, past the dive of McMahon. Anderson gets to 3rd. Myers will stop at first base. So another knock for the Great Dane.
Smart base running there too by Dane Myers. He gets out of the box quickly, and boy, he hits this ball hard down that 3rd base line. The curveball stayed up, but I love the round because this throw looks like Beck wants to go to 3rd base, but then the rounding here on Myers, he starts to look for it. I'm going to look for the double. All of a sudden, Beck comes up. Now he has to fire into 2nd, puts the brakes on, gets back to 1st.
On the corners, nobody out for Emmanuel Rivera. Walked earlier today, last 16 games, a .352 on base percentage. He'd like to do something here to drive home a run. He can do it with a fly ball. Can keep the line moving with another hit. Marlins have back-to-back singles here in the 6th inning. Tap foul, 1-1.
tried doing it his last AB. Ball just barely got in on him. He wasn't able to get it deep enough into the outfield. So now he's got a second chance to be able to do it.
Into the netting foul. So even though Block has spent some time with the Giants and last 2.5 years with the Rockies, first time that these two are seeing one another. Of course, Rivera played a little bit with the Diamondbacks, so some NL West matchups there, but never head to head. Two balls, two strikes, and he got him to chase one up and out of the zone. Fortes pops this one up back behind second. Tovar goes back. And Anderson just draws a throw, but not nearly deep enough.
And that's one of the situations where the Marlins need to get a little bit better. And it's when you have guys on third with less than 2 outs and being able to get those guys in.
Now 2 away for Luis Arraez.
Boy, Anderson's getting off third base a whole bunch. McMahon is playing off that third base line, and Anderson is just continuing to creep. So any ball that's in the dirt, he's going to have a very good chance to be able to score.
That up and in quadrant there, the corner. 1-1 to Arraez. And to your point, the Marlins below league average when it comes to percentage of getting that runner home from third with less than 2 outs. Rockies even further down on that list, which I suppose would stand to reason, seeing as these are 2 of the lower scoring teams in the National League.
And it's just those little things that, what can we do to get better? That's one of them. Man on third, less than 2, got to be able to get them in, especially when it's man on third with no outs.
Caught on the line drive. Montero
just goes up, and that ball ends up squeezing the glove for you.
So Jordan Beck will lead things off. Andrew Nardi, the new pitcher here for the Marlins, their third pitcher of the day. Bunch of kids, bunch of groups here on a 12-10 start. Always good to see. Beck fouls that one back.
For Andrew Nardi, in his last 7 games, he's only allowed the 1 earned run to a 1.59 ERA. Although the batting average against him in those 7 is .273. So guys have been hitting him, but he's been doing a good job of at least getting out of the damage.
This situation, probably what Nardi and Skip and Mel want right now, is bases empty. There's been an issue here with Nardi with the inherited runners this year, but he retires Beck. Got him on the fastball, and there's 1 away.
And that's where we've seen Nardi at his best, when it's a clean inning, nobody on, where there's not a thought process. You go up there and I'm just going to fire in that baseball. But you're right, he's had a bunch of struggles when inherited runners are on there, and then all of a sudden he can't really get himself out of the inning without giving up the runs.
Jake Cave takes a strike. He's 0 for 1. Walked and scored back in the 5th inning. 95 fastball up there. Here it is, hit it. He has struck out the first 2 Rockies.
And working quick, too. Wants the ball. Give me the ball. Let's go. Not thinking about anything. Just firing this fastball up in the zone. Just right by guys.
Jacob Stallings has had a nice day. His first start in the series. Spent a couple of years with the Marlins. 3-run home run in the second inning and a single in the fifth. And this one is lifted out towards center for Jazz. Boy, if it ever comes down. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Meyer Jr. Brian De La Cruz leads it off and takes one outside. Marlins sending 2, 3, and 4 to the plate here in the 7th. De La Cruz and then Jazz and Bell. One taken low. 2 balls and no strikes. DLC's been on base twice today. Walked and scored in the first. Struck out and then singled in the 5th. Nubbed back toward Block, who shovels it over to first base. Boy, the option pass gets the out. Now a word from Baptist Health.
Welcome to the warmer side of care. Welcome to Baptist Health.
Nearly handcuffed Montero there.
But the thing is, that ball had so much spin on it that he had no idea what to do. That ball got in, and I guarantee you it was squibbing around in that glove. He just wanted to get rid of it. Hot potato.
Get this thing out of here. Jazz down the left field line, but that'll get in the seats foul. Jazz today RBI single in the first, and twice has gone to shortstop. Once a ground ball, once a line drive. Even though there's action in the Rockies bullpen, and Block has gone 3 innings, leaving the lefty in to face Jazz. Our senior Thursdays here at the ballpark too. Anthony Bender in the Marlins bullpen after that clean inning from Andrew Nardi. 1-2 to Jazz. Grounds it to second base. Rogers has it. And there are 2 away.
Jazz hit that one hard. Just right at Rogers. And those are those ABs. You go back to the dugout, and the thought process cannot be bad. It has to be, hey, positive mentality. I hit that ball hard. It was just right at the guy. And that will get you out of that bad mood and get you out of that slumpish area.
Jazz has hit the ball on the ground quite a bit this year, though. That would be, I guess, the little bit of the concern, right? Last couple of years, actually, a higher ground ball rate. But that's a topic for another day. As Bell grounds out, we head to the 8th.
Yeah, I did. I mean, his skill set is just stupid, man, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, he's got more talent than anybody that we have on our team. But, you know, nearly 100 pitches in just 4 and plus is just way too many for him. I mean, he's got that good fastball. Once he starts to establish the fastball, and I heard Gabby say it, and throw it for strikes, that'll allow him to expand the strike zone in the same manner that Roddery Munoz did in yesterday's contest. He's got the same stuff.
All right, I'll make a mental note, Rod. Next time you call me stupid, you mean I'm extremely talented. That's good. That'll clear up a lot of problems.
You know what I meant, partner. You know what I mean.
Gentlemen, thank you. We'll get all the reaction from Skip in the clubhouse after this one. That's down the line and foul. A long strike for Hunter Goodman. Leading it off here for the Rockies. Then the top of the order, Tovar and Doyle due up in the 8th against Bender.
You know, Marlins really need Bender to get back into the own. And there's a 95 that gets away. And that's what we've kind of been seeing with Bender on the mound. where he'll throw 2 good pitches and all of a sudden he'll throw a sinker that just gets way out of the way, and this one right in the ribs. Boy, and that's 95 miles an hour too.
That was hunting him, and that did not feel good, man.
You know, and that's the worst. When you're hitting and you see it's a sinker baller and that ball starts at you and you know there's nowhere you can move, that it's just going to hit you and stick.
Looks like he's going to stay in the ball game, and pretty good chance that that bruise is going to fit in with the color scheme of the Rockies on the flight to Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to be icing that one after the ball game.
And I really just honestly think he's trying to catch his breath at this point.
And the thing with Bender's, his ball moves so much that it's almost like as a catcher, you got to just think, start away and let that ball just run and play its course.
Ezequiel Tovar 0 for 3. Runner goes, and that one is grounded foul.
And that's just a straight steal. That's not a hit and run, because Bender is, you know, pretty erratic on the mound. That ball's going to move a whole bunch. You're not going to just call a hit and run there.
It really looked like Goodman still trying to get his breath about him.
He's probably thinking, why are you telling me to steal right here?
You know, in years past, before the disengagement rule, you might see the pitcher check over there multiple times and really get him out of breath even more. Maybe it cost him a step or two if there happens to be a ball in the gap or something like that. It's just one of those little gamesmanship things, but you only have 2.5 step offs now.
Better get him on that half.
That's right.
After the 2.
Ball and 2 strikes to Tovar. Waved at and missed. That big sweeper. Second time Tovar has struck out this afternoon.
And this is where Bender can be so good. I mean, I feel like he has the stuff to be a closer in the big leagues. That's how good his pitches are. He just has to get them controlled to where he knows where they're going every time. I know I'm going to throw that sinker in. I'm going to throw that slider away.
And 9 career saves, had 3 in 2021 with the Marlins and 6 in 2022. Of course, missed all of last season recovering from Tommy John surgery. (1-0) to Brenton Doyle. Off the end of the bat, foul. Doyle today with a couple of strikeouts, 2 of the 9 for Edward Cabrera, who went 4+ today. 3 hits, but 4 runs and 4 walks. That was the issue yet again. 2 of those walks came in to score. He gave up a 3-run homer to Jacob Stallings.
Bender couldn't get that low pitch. We've been seeing Andy Fletcher giving that low pitch a bunch to the pitching staff. Been calling that one there. Bender couldn't get it.
Popped up. Rivera coming in, calling off Anderson and making the catch. The Marlins are throwing the ultimate party at the ballpark. Inside to Ryan McMahon. John Jay with the cues for the outfielders, knowing that McMahon has that extra base hit power. No contact day today for McMahon. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Bender gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and Fortes being smart too, the way that he's calling that sinker. Talked about not trying to throw that sinker away because that ball's running a whole bunch into righties away from lefties. So you try to show him into lefties and then let that ball come back. Now you can expand the zone a little bit more.
Missed with the changeup down.
Good pitch though. I would be careful with the slider because the slider is going to move a lot, and we've seen Bender utilize that slider against a lefty and actually hitting the lefty in the leg.
Well, with the sinker way in off the plate, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now the runner at first base, Goodman, will be off with the pitch. Tie game, top of the 8th inning. There goes Goodman. Here it comes to McMahon. Misses low. And there are 2 on and 2 out for Montero. Certainly a guy to be careful with. First game of this series, a 3-run home run. 0 for 2 today, but walked and scored in the second. Hacks, fouls that one back.
Hit 200 with runners in scoring position. He's 5 for 25 with a home run. With 2 outs, it's a little bit better. Hitting 250 with 2 home runs, 4 for 16.
Had a career high 15 doubles and 11 homers last year. That one outside, and here's a look at that home run against Sixto. 3-run shot and a 5-run first.
And this is when Sixto, we were talking about throwing too many strikes, and just threw this one right across the heart of the plate.
1-1. Good sweeper, gets to that outer third. A ball and 2 strikes.
And that's when Bender's throwing that sweeper that starts in to a righty. I mean, it's breaking 2 feet. It's tough to pull the trigger if you're a hitter.
In the air, back behind second base. Arise is there to make the catch. Well, Lambert lasted 3 1/3. Jesus Sanchez to lead things off. Goes after the first one out toward right center. Doyle for the first out.
And we talked about Doyle, Gold Glover in center field patrolling. And it looks like for Block it was just going to be one guy.
So Justin Lawrence will come in. He'll have the bases empty. That was a problem for him the other night. 4-4 bottom 8 pitching change for Colorado. Saw him pitch late on Tuesday night, first game of this series. This will be his 12th game of the season. Came in with runners on base, and that turned out to be a rally for the Marlins, but here 1 out and nobody on. But in a tie game in the 8th inning, I don't know if it's necessarily lower stress.
No, definitely not lower stress at all. And the Marlins did do a good job of touching him up the last time that he faced them. Seeing if they can do the same thing again, get something going here with Anderson up.
Singled his last time up. Sweeper way outside.
And for Lawrence, that's what you're going to get. It's a sinker sweeper combo mix. That's it. Just 2 pitches.
Lawrence, born in Panama, but has some Florida ties. High school in Jacksonville. 12th round pick in 2015 out of Daytona State College. And the sinker in there for a strike. '29-year-old deals, and that one is fouled off.
Just a tough angle as a hitter too. Ball coming in at 96, 97 miles an hour and on the hands. Where Lawrence has that low 3/4, almost sidearm. where he gets that real big sweep, too, away from the righties.
Like right there, and Anderson couldn't hold up. Second time Anderson struck out today, and now 2 outs in the inning.
For the Marlins snapped his 5-game streak without an earned run. He allowed 2 earned runs against Miami in that game we were talking about on Tuesday.
Dane Myers part of that rally. Takes inside.
Yeah, Myers got that sinker in. The line drive center field.
Have to figure that Tanner Scott is not available today after throwing 3 straight days. And we saw Maldonado pick up his first major league save last night. He's preparing for the 9th inning.
And that's a lot of confidence with Skip and Mel Stoudemire Jr. to say, hey, you're going to be the guy now who's going to come into that 9th inning.
Dane Myers, center field. Doyle makes the catch. And we'll head to the 9th inning, tied up 4-4 as we head to the 9th inning. It's Anthony Maldonado on to pitch. Picked up his first major league save last night. Congratulations to him. This will be his 4th big league game. We've seen him in a couple of different roles. So here's the thing now. Now you're almost rooting for the Marlins to win the game, period. But if he's the pitcher of record, he could go save last night, first win today, check it all off.
I mean, that's it. You're good.
Brendan Rodgers, then Beck and Cave due up for the Rockies. Missing outside with the slider.
I mean, you got to think it's really cool, right? You come into the big leagues making your big league debut as a starter, and then 2 appearances later, you are coming out of the bullpen in the 9th inning to get your first career save.
But it's 2 balls and a strike to Rodgers, who singled and scored on that Stallings home run back in the 2nd inning. He has struck out and lined out. 2 for 11 against Marlins pitching in the series so far. 2-1 from Maldonado. In on the hands, out towards center. Jazz coming in. He'll have to play it on a hop. Let's check in with Kelly Sacco.
As I spoke to Anthony after the game, I asked him, what did you know that you were coming in? He said if they score a couple runs, that was his time. He was really excited for it, guys. Really wanted that last strikeout, and he got it. He's got the ball. First career save. He said that's going right next to his first strikeout ball, right there in the mantle.
That was awesome. Yeah, we didn't know at the moment. We were kind of trying to figure out what was going on. Tanner Scott was in the game, and he was still on the bench. He hadn't gone down in the clubhouse or anything else. Thought he might come out, and all of a sudden, 9th inning, and here comes Maldonado. But as Skip decided described after the game, I should say, was that he and Tanner, he said Tanner made it known that he wanted to pitch the 9th. And he laughed.
I'll tell you this, though, Maldonado better do a good job of hiding that baseball, because Rodri Munoz might be going in there and trying to take that bad boy and saying, well, that's my first career win.
Yeah. The good thing is that in Major League Baseball, there's 1 million of them used in a game. So just got to authenticate the right one, I guess. Knocked down by Rivera on an in-between hop, and he won't have a play anywhere.
And not much you can do there if you're Rivera. This ball was well hit down that third base line. Tries to come up with it. I mean, it's really all you can do there. They're going to give that one a hit. Short hop, tries to just make the play, basically just knocking that ball down.
Marlins expecting a bunt here from Cave. They've got the corners way in. And he gets the bunt down, goes back to Maldonado, slings it wide of third. And the Rockies are going to run themselves into all sorts of chaos right here. Anderson will apply the tag. And the Marlins catch a huge break right there.
I mean, Maldonado did the right thing, jumped on this ball. This ball bunted right back at him. You're supposed to do this. Just an errant throw. Nothing they can do there, but great job by Myers backing up that play, which is the reason why Rogers could not take off and go to home. And because of that, they end up getting out. But really, it's the same situation as it would have been, man on second and third with an out.
Well, the out goes 7-6. Second and third, one away. And it brings up Jacob Stallings. We, of course, have been heaping praise on Stallings for his time in a Marlins uniform, the other half of the Sandy Cy Young back in 2022, but that's all out the window now. He's the enemy right about now. 0-1. Maldonado deals. Fortes smothers that one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's one of the good things, too, about having a Fortes behind the plate. So good at blocking and keeping that ball in front of him.
One and one. Goes to the slider, gets the swing and miss.
And Stallings way out in front on this slider. We know Maldonado loves to throw the slider. You can see Stallings just reaching out for it way out in front. Try to see if he throws the same exact pitch, even a little bit more off the plate away.
1 and 2 coming. Tried it, but Stallings laid off. So a single for Rogers to start the inning. Beck had the infield single to Rivera at third. It goes down for Jake Cave as a sacrifice bunt, and he gets to second on the throwing error. Second and third, one away, and a tie game, 9th inning. And Maldonado picks up a huge strikeout.
That's just a great sequence by Maldonado. Now here's the thing, Fortes was looking fastball away. Maldonado ended up throwing it up and in, and for me that's a great pitch, especially after being away with the sauce stuff. Run that up and in. Fortes behind the plate, he is very good at blocking baseballs and making sure guys don't get the extra 90. So you can pitch Blackmon tough and not necessarily just give him the 4-base walk.
And they're just going to walk him.
Just say forget it.
So there you have it. Hard day's work there for Charlie Blackmon. That'll bring up Tovar.
Said, no, we're just going to not even pitch him tough. Just put him on. We'll go with the righty-righty.
So loads the bases, but also creates the force anywhere. So you get weak contact, little tapper back to the mound instead of having a spin and throw to first base. You can just flip it home and maybe get the out right there. You also go from a guy who's way up all the Rockies leaderboards to a guy who a little less experienced in these spots. Maybe try to exploit that a little bit perhaps.
And he's over his last 12 too, so that probably plays a part of why you would walk Blackmon and get to Tovar, who hasn't been swinging the bat great.
Ball and no strikes to Tovar. Good slider. Missed it by a foot or so. Rogers, Cave, and Blackmon go third to first. Nice job, Fortes. Smothers another. Maldonado delivers a 2-1 pitch. Back to the slider and another swing and miss.
It's such a good slider. I mean, that one there is just perfectly placed. Starts middle away and just breaks right off. And for Tovar, he sees it, think it's going to be a good pitch to hit, and by the time he swings at it, it's gone. 2-2. Missing inside.
And you can start the merry-go-round now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded, tie game, top 9.
Do you surprise him with a heater here? All sliders so far in this AB.
Ground ball to third. And Rivera gets the out at first base. Bottom of the 9th inning coming up. Maldonado walking a tight.
3 outings ago for him. Really impressive.
That's the thing. It's not a save, but he saves the game for sure. That one down low to Rivera. Ball and no strikes. Walk, a fly out, a strikeout today. Sweeper in there, 1-1. So Lawrence struck out Anderson and got Myers to fly out, picking up the last 2 outs of the 8th inning. Rockies' 3rd pitcher this afternoon brings it home and misses away with 97.
If Rivera ends up getting on here, I would think they would probably get a pinch hit for Nick Fortes.
Strikeout of Rivera. We'll see if they do that anyway. Fortes was due up, but he's heading toward the dugout, and it looks like it will in fact be Vidal Brujan. So Brujan been swinging a hot bat lately. Talked about it last night. You look at his spray chart, it goes all across line to line. He's been really great for the Marlins. Another couple of hits, 3 walks, getting on base. He's really found it offensively lately.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, Paul, is that he can really get one down and lay one down whenever he wants.
Meeting on the mound here. You see this a lot with the pinch hitters. Just a refresher on the scouting report. And Brujan trying to come up with big hits. We've seen Myers with big hits off the bench this series. Try to get a rise to the plate. Or end it yourself. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. But at the top of the order due up next. So this is obviously a crucial at bat for the Marlins. First one down low, a ball and no strikes. Two and 0. Chopper right to McMahon. Didn't even have to move. Birch Smith in the Marlins bullpen. So with 2 away, brings up Luis Ariz. Takes a strike.
For Ariz, another 2-hit game today. See if he can continue this inning. Really nice if he can get himself another double, get himself into scoring position.
In the air, center field, Doyle underneath it. Marlins, he's their 6th pitcher today. He'll face Doyle, McMahon, and Montero. Bethancourt, the new catcher, as Fortes was pinch hit for. That's the only change for the Marlins. The bunt dropped down. Birch Smith has it, flings it to first, and Ariz stays on the bag. Not only did he stay on the bag, he kept that ball from going down the right field line.
I mean, what a stretch. You're really lucky because you have a Rise who is used to playing first base. He knows how to play first base, so he knows how to stretch to get a baseball. He had to run a long way to get over because he was playing close to that second base bag. He's able to get there and keep that left foot on.
Marlins bring the infield even with the bag. Ryan McMahon takes a look at ball one. A couple of walks for McMahon today. Good pitch on that outside part of the plate to even it up. Tovar, the placed runner from second, now at third. Smith's 1-1. This is with that cutter down and in. Three balls and a strike.
I would just put him on at this point, because if there's one guy that I don't want to beat me, it's going to be McMahon. At a 3-run count, I don't mind putting him on first to maybe be able to get the double play with Montero coming up after.
They're going to pitch to him. How careful will they be? Not careful enough. He chopped it foul. But at least now it's 3-2.
Yeah, it gets a cutter, I mean, in off the plate. I mean, that's a good pitch in that situation. Want to see if McMahon will expand the zone here on a 3-2 count.
Payoff coming. Swing and a miss. Beat him with the fastball away.
That's such a big pitch, especially after coming in with the cutter. McMahon probably thinking he's going to come right back in there. Instead, throws that fastball right on the outside corner, gets McMahon to swing and miss.
Well, full house for McMahon today. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Brings up Montero. Goes after the first one, fouls it away right side, 0-1. Walk and a run scored back in the second. Strikeout, fly out, pop up for Montero. Marlins will send De La Cruz, Jazz, and Bell to the plate. And Arise will be that placed runner at second base. Hopefully, 1 run will do it.
It looks like they're going to have to do it against Justin Lawrence, because I do not see anybody warming up in that bullpen.
Fouled back, ball and 2 strikes. Rockies have struggled with runners in scoring position today. No, phrase it differently. The Marlins pitchers have buckled down when the Rockies have had runners in scoring position today. 1 for 10 to this point. Yeah, 1 for 11. There you go. So the Marlins will have a chance to walk it off. Luis Arise, the placed runner, and now the question is, how do the Marlins play it, needing just the 1? At first glance, they let De La Cruz swing away.
I think at this point, you're not going to tell De La Cruz to bunt, but you're going to trust in De La Cruz to get the job done. Let that ball travel and hit the ball the opposite way to move that runner. To be honest, I'm very surprised that Lawrence threw him a first pitch slider, because Lawrence does have that good sinker that can keep it in on the hands, and that's what you would want to do in this situation, to try to keep that ground ball to the left side of the infield.
There's a strike. I know we're 2 pitches in, but I'll still consider it a first guess. When I asked you, what would you have done?
It's tough, because I don't want to lose De La Cruz, but in this kind of situation, probably bring in, you know, a guy that I trust in bunting. And Otto Lopez would be a guy. Gordon could be a guy of just being able to get that bunt down, get that runner over.
De La Cruz fouls it back, still 0-2. And again, I'm sure these are all the conversations that are happening in the top of the inning. You never know. You're playing for 1 to win it. You need 2 to win it. Whatever.
Probably more Gordon. Just being able to bring that ball over.
0-2 to DLC, and a swing and miss.
And this, I mean, this is the good pitch here if you're De La Cruz to get the job done. And he tries. You can see where he's looking. That body posture is trying to take that ball away. Just out in front on it.
Bud Black going to come out. That does it for Les. Jazz at the plate with 1 out. Jalen Beeks gets that outside corner for strike 1. The numbers on Jalen Beeks, his 13th game. 2.40 ERA. In the air, left center field. It's Doyle. And Rise stays put. It's a 2 away.
And for Jalen Beeks on the mound, you've got to remember back to that Tuesday, he was the pitcher who ended up being walked off on that Myers hit. So Josh Bell's kind of looking at Myers going, I'm going to try to do the same thing here.
Rockies happy to have a Gold Glover behind home plate. Stallings knocked that one down. Keeps a Rise at second base. Bell with 3 walk-offs in his career. Takes that one outside.
And here's the thing too, we saw where Myers hit that ball for his game winner into that 4-hole. They're playing Bell straight pull. There's a lot of area in that right side.
Takes a strike.
And that's where they keep pitching him. If I'm hitting right now, I am looking to drive something to right field right here. A lot of real estate.
2-1 to Bell. Takes one outside. So 2017 it was a walk-off homer. 2018 it was a walk-off double. Walk-off RBI with a fielder's choice back in 2023, but that was with Cleveland. So no walk-offs with the Marlins yet. And not one here, but that's fine. That'll keep the line moving.
Well, you kind of figured at that point that they didn't want to pitch to Bell. They were going to see if he was going to chase, because you have Sanchez behind, who is a lefty. So they would rather the lefty-lefty matchup.
Now the Rockies all get together. Otto Lopez goes to pinch run, and you wonder if that's maybe just to get an extra step to stay out of a close force play, because that run obviously doesn't mean anything. It also be a situation where if there happens to be an 11th inning, maybe Bell would have come out for defense anyway, and you put Lopez at second and Rise at first. We've seen that.
We talked about the hands team and Rise moving over to first base. They've done that plenty of time.
So it's Sanchez, 2 on, 2 out. Fouls it straight back. Sac fly for Sanchez back in the first, officially 0 for 3 today. Takes that one outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And it seems like that's what Beek has been doing against the lefties. We saw it with Jazz, just trying to stay on that outside corner. try to use your aggression against you.
Missing way up with the fastball. Rise that placed runner, and Lopez the pinch runner. 95 up near the hands. 2-2. Sanchez left field, down, and that's gonna do it. Here comes a rise. It's a Marlins win. You think about the homestand for Jesus Sanchez a few nights ago, was benched. Luis Arraez, the placed runner, and now the question is, how do the Marlins play it, needing just the one? At first glance, they let De La Cruz swing away.
I think at this point, you're not going to tell De La Cruz to bunt, but you're going to trust in De La Cruz to get the job done. Let that ball travel and hit the ball the opposite way to move that runner. To be honest, I'm very surprised that Lawrence threw him a first pitch slider, because Lawrence does have that good sinker that can keep it in on the hands, and that's what you would want to do in this situation to try to keep that ground ball to the left side of the infield.
There's a strike. I know we're 2 pitches in, but I'll still consider it a first guess. When I ask you, what would you have done?
It's tough because I don't want to lose De La Cruz, but in this kind of situation, probably bring in, a guy that I trust in bunting. And Otto Lopez would be a guy. Gordon could be a guy of just being able to get that bunt down, get that runner over.
De La Cruz fouls it back, still 0-2. And again, I'm sure these are all the conversations that are happening in the top of the inning. You never know. You're playing for 1 to win it. You need 2 to win it. Whatever.
Probably more Gordon. Just being able to bring that ball over.
0-2 to DLC, and a swing and miss.
And this is the good pitch here if you're De La Cruz to get the job done, and he tries. You can see where he's looking. That body posture is trying to take that ball away, just out in front on it.
Bud Black going to come out. That does it for